We've got YouTube.
Just play Steven Seagal.
Play Steven Seagal.
On the right. Seagal, yeah.
Put a picture of Steven Seagal on the right. All right. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 605. Annoying anime tropes and pet peeves. I mean, we've had videos like this before. There's probably about a dozen or so. There's dozens and dozens of tropes from anime that we all know. But there's probably about 5 or 6 that we know personally that we just can't stand, or it turns us off, or it's like, oh, this is this thing again. The pattern in rom-coms, the announcement of a skill before they do it, the being punched into the sky with a little twinkle, all those silly things that annoy us. So that's
naming your attacks.
Well, maybe people like that. I find some of them annoying. This is common in any kind of media you consume. There's going to be some things that annoy you too much, and some that you love, like, I don't know, the girl bouncing into the guy at the start of the school day with the piece of toast in her mouth, and they smash together and fall down, and she calls him a pervert because her skirt flipped or something. It's like, oh, here we go. It's amazing.
Oh my god, is that an Evangelion reference?
Oh my god, the robot came on.
It all depends on, does the trope fit whatever you're doing, and are you using it every bloody episode, or is it just this one little thing in the corner that happens there, or in if you play a video game, is it once there in your 130 hours of casual gameplay?
It's tough.
Then it can work.
Yeah.
I just like the idiot main protagonist of harrowing enemies. Like I really just like harrowing enemies.
Okay. That's
Can't identify with the idiot?
That's a common trope in every genre. It is always going to be a harem, or in rom-coms you have to have at least 3 major romantic triangles or romantic suitors, I guess you could say, that are conflicting with everyone.
Every time there's a fight, there has to be time dilation because everyone seems to move faster than light these days.
Oh, the teleporting, running around the opponent really quickly where they can't see them, because why wouldn't you do that? I mean, that's just what you do.
Every single fight in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, if it weren't slowed down for the audience, it'd be fight over.
Yeah, there's lots of tropes which saves the animator time, and it works with the narrative. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, you could do stupid crap like that. We've just seen it for decades, and it's silly. It's old. No one moves faster than light, please. Anyway.
And even what we see, even the slow down portions of what we see, we don't even see everything. We only see the highlights.
Like one frame of animation, it's like, yeah, he's completely stiff as he slows down. Like, what is that? How does that work?
And then you shake the camera.
Oh, that's
and it looks
fun.
like, whoa, energy.
All right, so there's lots of.
I like in Bleach sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
In Bleach, they actually explain the trope scientifically.
Oh, really?
The moving fast trope. In the fight with Mayuri and Zalapro.
Really? Okay.
In the fight with Mayuri and Zalapro Grant takes a drug that makes him move slowly, but it's supposed to simulate what it's like to move super fast.
Oh, yeah, we've had
like
drugs like in Bebop with the red eye. How does that work? We're not sure. It doesn't matter. It's a cool effect.
So they use jet.
Right. There's drugs that do crazy shit. Yeah.
So no issue with the title. The title's meh.
Right. So it's only a 7-minute long video. I'm sure she has some very specific ones she doesn't like. That's fine.
She's a normie. Yeah, we can expect pretty much.
Well, she came out with this video a month ago. It has about 5,000 views. She's got less than 1,000 subs. So she's getting started, I guess. And she likes anime. That's totally cool.
And she has horrible color sense.
What? You don't like pink? Pink desks?
that for what? That's a personal thing. But you cannot combine pink with yellow.
Why not?
You see that yellow box?
No, it's just degrading plastic.
She also have cats. You can see there the super fast for cats.
You can see she has a cat tree. We don't know whether she has cats yet, but it would be safe to assume she has cats.
Yeah, well, if you have a smoothie, you're going to want some banana and raspberry in there, but the color is arguable, I guess. Sure. Anyway,
So,
yeah,
the
7 minutes.
title's objective, the subject
Let's go.
is
No, pink is objectively an evil color.
Okay, leave the colors alone. Jeez. Let's go.
I meant the title.
All right.
Hey travelers, welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Today's video we're going to go over the sins of anime, and that is anime tropes, cliches, and downright annoying scenarios. So let's get started.
Cool. Fast. Like
Yeah,
her.
and
Nice.
she's speaking
She wished it
objectively
nice as well.
about something subjective.
Harem. I absolutely feel
I dislike this
uncomfortable
too.
when a really good anime with great plot slowly turns into harem. I don't know
Example.
how to feel about it.
Example.
usually. Or reverse harem.
Example.
Oh no, she's
Reverse
doing the
harem
music.
Is way
Which
worse
cartoon was that?
than regular harem. Let's be honest about that. Reverse harem, like diabolic lovers, brothers conflict, like those are uncomfortable to
Okay, you guys ever heard of those before?
No, that's if it's reverse harem, then it's
I
aimed
think-
at women anyway. So nobody watches
Evangelion.
them.
Evangelion is a reversed harem.
I think
But I can relate. I can
Well,
relate
because
with
Misato
this
is-
because go on with.
Because Misato is the main character.
Oh.
Yes. She sleeps with everyone.
Including Pen Pen.
And Shinji.
who does?
But you don't want to know.
All right. So she doesn't like harems or reverse harems. Fine. Not a
No,
problem.
No. I would say this take is based because herons are cringe.
They're not haram. There you go.
Yeah.
They are
You
haram.
can.
They
I
are
think
haram.
Harem, so haram.
I'm committing a lot of haram right now.
Whoops.
I think most people eventually grow out of that very quickly.
Yeah, it's a juvenile.
Ah, I
fantasy.
did it. I love it.
Because
Okay.
yeah, but it repeats very fast.
Actually, my main character in my book has a harem.
All right.
Cringe.
Fair enough. Let's keep going.
No, but the joke is that he doesn't want to get married, so he's just begone thought to all of them.
Ah, there's perfect. There you go.
Oh, that's a more interesting version of that.
Yeah.
Well, now
Because
I like this
anime,
character.
the male characters are usually just passive. That the things happen around them, they just don't do anything.
Yeah, it's like Elon Musk is too busy to own a house, so he just travels all the time doing work, and all the girls are chasing him, and they don't know where he is.
Wow, he
Well, that's
figured
the
it out.
sound that tracks his jet.
Oh yeah, that's right. They
Oh,
gotta
no,
track
so
him
then
electronically
they have
on Twitter.
Doc spot.
Oh, it'd be a parade of women are just like hunting him down. Oh boy.
Only for the money, because it's certainly not for the looks.
Well, maybe the neural link is like evolving, and they're like telepathically linked. Who knows?
To cite the manga that I'm reading, it's the ideal Sponger life. I like the main character because everyone tries to push a concubine to make him have a harem, and he's always denying, like, no,
Yeah.
I just like my.
There's a few.
I really like.
Yeah, there's a few anime where the Japanese guys go isekais to wherever, and they falls in love with the queen or the princess, and it's like it's totally normal to have a concubine. He's like, I don't want one. What are you talking about?
I just want to have my wife.
Yeah, give me one woman. It's all I need. What the hell? Don't drive me crazy.
That's why I like the main character of that manga, because he's not dumb. He actually have guts.
Yeah.
He stays with his principles.
There's a manga and an anime based off the manga, of course, called The Rational Leader Revitalizes the Kingdom or something, or A Practical Leader Revitalizes the Kingdom. And his main squeeze is supposed to be the princess, but he ends up getting two royal, not concubines, what's the name for them? Like, I don't know, there's a specific royal like name for having a second wife. And one of them
Sounds a bit like the Fisher King.
The Fisher King, the movie?
So the old story of the Fisher King, the king went fishing, abandoned his kingdom, it fell into ruin, but when he won the throne, it revitalized the kingdom.
Oh, yeah. What happens is
It sounds
he's brought in
like
as a
that.
hero, and usually heroes are supposed to fight the demon lord to save the people. it's like, no. We got like economic problems and crops that aren't growing, and we got... so he's like, oh shit, I gotta fix it.
I actually want
actual
you to read.
problems.
Yeah, like real administrative issues that the kingdom needs.
Oh,
so the
wait,
kingdom,
wait. I actually want to watch this anime.
Oh,
It's
that
good.
sounds really good.
It is a good
Yeah.
anime. It's very practical. There's the demon realm, and there's all these other kingdoms are surrounding them. And he's just like, okay, we're gonna stop this we're gonna invent crop rotation, which no one heard of before, which like 4 times all the crops that pop up. They're gonna stop doing cash crops, like they were making cotton instead of food, so they stopped doing that. They went to the elves' forest, and they taught the elves how to chop down trees to prevent the ground from degrading, to stop landslides and mudslides, so that the elves think that he's this genius that can just do anything. He's like, no, just freaking kill the trees. Like, stop destroying your soil. So
Yeah, but look, that's the if we get the next super apocalypse, the one guy who remembers a few basic things
Yeah.
will be regarded as a god
Exactly, yeah.
of knowledge and
And
agriculture
that's
and,
why I want to
building.
live in Fallout.
no,
No, you don't.
you don't.
Yeah,
But
Fallout's
this
awful.
is the part that I really liked about Log Horizon, which was one of the
Yes.
very few
Yeah.
animes that MMORPG isekai people, and because it dealt with, okay, we're all here, and the food is not real. Like, it gives us nutrition, but it tastes like ass.
Yeah.
Alright.
Everybody's going depressed. We need to do something.
Be-
And it's
Before
just
you,
figuring out how to get society to work in this world that doesn't make sense.
I put the title
Before-
in the
before
chat,
you-
so in case you guys want to check it out. Manga's pretty good. It's very slow to come out, and the anime was only the first season, so... But the anime is actually fairly good. It's not action-packed. There's no real major fight scenes. It's just a guy trying to get by. Actually, there's some fight scenes, but it's just a guy trying to get by and saving the kingdom, so...
Before you play press the play button, in the manga, this manga idea is Sponge Life. He brings the knowledge of glass. No one in the kingdom know, or other kingdoms know
Yeah,
about glass. And
Oh man, that's super magic.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, yeah.
you can make beads out of glass. How did you do that? It's like sand and you melt it. Like, what are you talking about? What's so hard about that?
yeah,
Who
and
invented
it is,
glass?
and it is a super secret. Like the queen doesn't want this to get out of the kingdom because this will make-
That's the one. That's the one where he has this hot queen wife, and they have a kid, and he brings like his laptop and his TV. Like, what are these magical devices? And that's one of those stories.
Where's he get the energy from?
They don't.
That's what I
explain
was
it.
going to say.
They don't explain it. But,
he does bring a generator
oh my
to
god!
make
Jesus.
energy.
But they have magic in the kingdom that's very rare, but he has the skill for it, and they want him to get a concubine as well, so that there's peace between other kingdoms. But it's all
And you're
it's
like,
pure.
no.
It's pure politics. Like, it's 99% just, oh, this person thinks this, so I gotta react and bow like that, and he's the father
Oh, cool.
of
That's
the
the
duke.
shit I like.
Yeah, it's
No,
purely
it's
that.
really cool. It's really cool. I really liked the manga.
What's it
That's-
called again?
And ironically, no sarcasm, I like that shit. That was very well done in Log Horizon, except for that 1/2 season that went. Ugh. No, is there more? Did more of that come out?
Oh, it's called
I'll check it
Iso no Kimo Sekatsu, or the ideal sponger life. There you go.
Yeah, it's great. I Sponge Your Life because he's not the king. He's the priest consort. He's the queen's husband.
It's really
It
good.
sounds
It's
more
slow.
exciting than Naruto.
Oh god,
And
it's slow, but it's all like, you got to learn this tradition, and then you have to go to that kingdom and represent us to talk and negotiate peace. And you're like, okay, and all this formality, all these, you have to wear this, and you have to dress like that. You have to know who this person is. It gets kind of like crazy with the world building, but it's so slow and natural that it's like, hey, this was probably what would happen when a kingdom is trying to delegate and have peace agreements and not go to war, and all these advisors and all these assistants. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it is slow in a way that doesn't bores you. Like you
Right.
keep reading, you keep turning pages.
Right.
I think this kind of thing is what we should have got as a follow-on to Avatar: The Last Airbender instead of Legend of Korra.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. People like Avatar for very specific reasons. The whole 4 elements and the war.
Because we got all the action in the three main in the 3 main parts where we're fighting the Fire Lord, and the next bit could have just been him rebuilding and building up the 4 nations together.
Right. The thing is, with
think
all
that-
of these anime and manga
could've-
stories, the titles don't represent what the story is about. Like the title says, the ideal Sponger life. Not really. He's pretty busy. He's going to war. He's going to other kingdoms. He's learning
Mhm.
magic. He's teleporting himself. He's trying to share his knowledge to his queen, and they have these brother and sister who know like to make the best artifacts in the world, and they need his help. And it's like, oh my god, he's doing all this work.
And he's always worried about his wife's health and his kids, and
Yeah, exactly. And the wife wants him to get a concubine. He's like, I don't want one. What are you talking about? Leave me alone. It's great. Anyway, 43
How about
seconds. in.
that skeleton manga that I keep forgetting the title.
The skeleton can't fail to protect the dungeon or something like that.
Isn't that
What?
an accurate title?
It is an accurate
I
title.
saw a Skeleton Knight thing.
The thing is, it's pretty much like how there's like rebirth. Well, when he dies, he goes all the way back to the original dungeon where he originated, but he keeps this one substance. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically what levels him up, and he has all his memories. And the problem is, every time he goes back, it changes something next in the future, so he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. And then you get a totally different story, and you get new characters. Like, oh my god, it's a really wild ride, and it's one of my favorite. It's so crazy. It's full color. It's long. I think it's South Korean, and if you like RPGs, if you like that sort of isekai world and gameplay world, then you would probably like that one as well. So, but a little different than what we're talking about on the topic here. So, anyway, let's go.
Watch, come on. If you've watched those, kind of cringe, right? I feel like it ends up ruining a really good plot sometimes because it goes from very heavy action pack to all of a sudden all these girls realizing that they have feelings for the protagonist, and for some reason, as soon as they start realizing that they have interest or love or have a crush or something on the main protagonist, they start kind of turning into damsels in distress. Like they forget their own fighting skills or these really amazing, episodes where they were hyped up. All of a sudden, that doesn't matter anymore because harem anime.
Because they get left
so
behind in power
damsels in
scaling.
distress.
It depends.
Makes sense.
it depends.
Stretched out fight scenes. Stretched out
Isn't
fight
that really a
scenes.
harem thing?
Honestly, I think the biggest reason they exist in anime is because the anime catches on to
I
the manga a
wouldn't
little
think so.
too fast, and because it catches on a little too fast, the animation team has to come up with filler episodes.
There's one example I want to bring up because what you talked about.
Dragon Ball.
What? No.
Dragon Ball always have stretched out fight scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
but we already went over this earlier with time dilation thing, where we see the highlights and
Indeed.
it's massively. It's like Bruce Lee times 1,000, something stupid like that.
Oh, okay. I was going to bring up an example. It's a manga I like called. It's actually an anime as well. I don't know how far they've gotten though. It's called Trapped in a Dating Sim. The world of otome games is tough for a mob player. Like he's a guy who just wants to play in the background. And the way all isekais are the same. You're doing something righteous or wrong. You run in front of a truck. You get killed and you get teleported to wherever. In this case, he's playing an otome game, which is a game for girls. So it's basically reverse harem. And he's playing it for her so she can get to the dramatic parts, and he just does the gameplay parts. So he gets magically transported to this world where he's one of the side characters.
Oh no.
The thing is, he's so good at the game that he just maxes everything out and just destroys all the princes that are supposed to fall in love with the main character. And he just like he becomes a duke within like 2 weeks, and he's like, okay, leave me alone. Let me just live my life, having tea parties and and that's it. He just wants to have tea parties and chill out. But he ends up changing the entire world because he's so powerful and he can break everyone with his supreme giant robot. He has a flying island and all this shit.
God.
So
What is character development?
he ends up not admitting that he likes the two main female leads. One of them was going to be the heroine character that people would play if they played the game, but there ends up being this third party that no one knows he doesn't even know who she is, called Marie, and she's like this annoying brat that just it ends up being the sister that he was playing the game for, but no one knows. And the two characters that are the main heroine, and the other one's the main love rival, end up falling for this dude because he's so strong. He saves everyone. He saves the kingdom, and he doesn't want anything. He's just like, leave me alone. He has all the money in the world. Like, he doesn't care. He's all this power. Like, leave me alone. But his attitude is so bad because he hates the game. He hates being there. So he hates everyone. He's just, leave me alone. I will.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. Even his robot AI companion that has the giant mech and the giant flying battleship, he's like, can I kill the humans yet? He's like, please, they're over there. Like, we could just kill them all. He's like, stop it, leave them alone. Just like, everyone's annoying him. So it's one of those things where it's making a joke about harem.
That's a great twist on the genre, on both.
It's fun, yeah, because you have the exact mob type character who just wants to be left alone in the background. Like that other anime where he just wants to be a secondary or mob type character in the background that just came out. The Darkness. What the hell is that guy's name?
Oh God, do we have a new subgenre
Of fourth wall breaking.
Of a subgenre.
Yeah, the guys who
of just being the background character in the otome game?
Yeah, and then ends up being like completely obliterating the entire main plot because they know everything. They cheat every way through. Yeah, what the hell's that called? Not Peter Grill. That's kind of stupid. I'm just going through my list here.
What was the first one called?
The first one was, let me just get to go back to my screen. Trapped in a dating sim. The world of otome games is tough for mobs. And the one that I'm trying to bring up or find is something about the shadow, the epic shadow or something. Where are you? Just scrolling down here. Well, I'll find it later, but I know it's on my playlist, and maybe the season's over. I don't remember. It's not Mov Love. It's not Mob Psycho. Eminence in Shadow. There we go. It's a great manga. It's a really funny, awesome. It's probably the best anime to watch in terms of action and comedy. And he's all like he magically, well, he doesn't do it, but he ends up saving this elf chick, and she's so crazy about him that she ends up doing whatever he says. So he invents a story like, oh, there's this evil cult of Diablos which is controlling the world. And she's like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's like, I will stop them. First, we must make our own organization. Like this is like stuff you would say as a kid.
Blackjack and hookers.
Well, pretty much. She ends up forming an entire organization based off a whim. And he's like, oh, I knew you would do that. He's like, what? You're gonna make this entire crazy group of superpowered chicks that are all called Shadow Garden, and they end up inventing chocolate, and they sell chocolate in this modern mall that he ends up owning because they gave it to him. And he's like, oh, I see you've done very well, Alpha. Where's Beta and Delta? Like, oh, they're busy training to fight the cult of Diablos. He's like, what? Cult of Diablos? What are you doing? So he has no idea what's going on, and it's so funny because his story is like this crazy kid who wanted to learn magic, and obviously there's no magic in this world, so he kept training in the mountains, and he ended up just going crazy. And as you know, you get isekai'd by hitting a truck in the freeway. So he ran in front of a truck, going crazy, chanting magic, 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 and then boom, he dies, and now he's in a new world where he can control magic. So
hey, it worked.
It worked.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that lucky?
Doesn't
You
that
just
send
had
the
to
wrong
die.
message?
Yeah, it's Yeah,
It's
that's anime for you. It's crazy.
way. It's a recent way to go to another world.
It is a funny show. It's really great animation. I don't know why they spent so much animation on this stupid fight scenes, but they did. And it feels good because he is a hero. He is saving people, but he's always in the background. That's the whole point. He doesn't want to be known. He's stopping villains before they kill someone. He's saving people. He's like, he's cool about it. He's like, oh, my name is Shadow. And he goes away. You're like, what? So it's silly. It's fun. It's cool. Okay. Back to what she was talking about. I forgot.
Fight scenes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, long fight scenes.
About it, so they decide, hey, you know what? Let's just stretch out the fight. And I'm specifically talking about One Piece in this case because I kid you not, there is this there's like 10 episodes that got stretched out. The fight between Luffy and the Jaw guy during the Big Mom arc. Man, I swear, I felt like I was just looking at the same still frame every episode, but I kept watching because I kept hoping that the next episode would continue with the plot, but it never did. It took forever. I swear it was 10 episodes. Please tell me if it was.
Pervs?
This one is kind of like, ew.
Okay, I'm guessing this one
perverts.
probably comes from
There's always
life
a
experience.
character whose whole personality trait is to just harass all the other characters around them. Downright annoying to watch. Their whole personality
Yeah,
is
that's the
being
point.
a pervert.
Okay,
They're always
this is
doing
important.
That's just being
dodgy
Japanese
things.
in general.
Yo.
Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but-
Japanese have a
But-
completely different culture to us.
Not just that, it's also important to understand that, yes, you have the correct reaction to that character. That's what the character is for. That character teaches you that behavior is bad. It's basically
They are always.
your Sesame Street anime trope of this behavior is bad. You get punched into the sky for that.
Right. And with Naruto example, Jiraiya, he is a very reputable, powerful dude, but he's also this love writer on Harlequin romance. And he's very good at it. So naturally he would have, naturally anyone would have sexual desires, but he obviously makes them more public.
It's also this a bit of a pattern of the old wise master also being a perv.
Sure. Yeah. That's a trope for sure.
But it shows you that, it's still a human being.
Right. Usually when they have the pervy punk or the guy trying to hit on the girl from school and randomly downtown somewhere, that's it. That's all they exist for, so the hero can come in and save them. That's about it. But some characters, it's like, yeah, of course I'm attracted to you. I'm a guy. Like, it's pretty obvious. And the girl just freaks out. Goes, oh, how could you have sexual feelings? It's like, you're a girl and you're gorgeous. What do you mean? Like, it's so obvious.
And they always get punched.
Yeah, and
through to the sky.
And the animes are
For the
designed
most
to have.
part, it's a joke.
Yeah, it is for comical reasons, but it's like, of course these guys are falling for all these hot and cute chicks because they're designed that way. They're demure and friendly and gorgeous and nice. It's like, okay, yeah, obviously people are gonna love Belle Dandy from Oh My Goddess, and they're gonna fawn over Urd, and they're gonna go to Scold because Scold's adorable. The thing is,
Which one was the brown one?
Scold. Sorry.
There we go.
Sorry, Scold's a cute little one. Urd is the brown one with the angelic and demonic. The thing is, in the plot, as we find in the manga, she's Keiichi or Keiichi, is under a spell to never have sexual feelings for Belle Dandy the entire time, which is why it explains they never do anything together. And Belle Dandy's so like, oh, I'm a goddess, so she doesn't act on any of her feelings. And that was what really annoyed me, because you're trying to tell me this goddess put a spell on this dude all this time. They wouldn't even kiss. Like they were together with each other for years and years and years throughout the manga and the anime. And that's a revelation. Goes, oh, that's crazy. That's insane to do that to this guy.
Kind of mean.
Kind of weird.
Seems like poor writing.
Well, it explains why nothing happened, but they could have explained that in any other way. But to put a spell on the guy that he would never have sexual feelings for her, even though every episode he's fawning over her and she's fawning over him, and they're like looking into each other's eyes and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. I mean, the plot is not about them hooking up. It's about the love rivals and the competitions. Like he's an engineering student, so he's fixing cars and motorbikes and whatever. So that was always the fun part. And the sisters are always trying to break them up, but because they're controlled by fate, they never break up. And they're always pissed off about that. And Erd is always trying to flirt with him, and because he has no sexual feelings, he can't do anything. So she's like, what the hell? So she comes on harder. And Skull just hates him because she thinks that he's taking him away from her sister, whom everyone loves, Beldani. Like, everyone loves her. She's the goddess of, I think, the present. Skull's the goddess of the past, and Dur is the goddess of the future. So, anyway, it's.
I think it's the other way around.
Skuld is the future, right? Yeah, you're right.
Aren't they Valkyries in Norse mythology?
Well,
No. They're the Norns.
The fates from Greek mythology.
Oh, okay. There we go.
well, it's
present
Norse,
and future.
but yeah, it's the same concept in Greek as well.
Alright, so wait, Norse mythology. So the Norns.
The Norns,
Yes.
you got it.
Did I not come through?
Yeah, you said that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's hard to remember all these names because they're very specifically, and we get the watered down Japanese version, which is fine. It's cute. I like it. Story about a guy and a girl in a polytechnic engineering mechanical class. So, anyway.
Well, you would expect that, Andy.
I think I know where she's going with this one.
We can skip
Fan
this.
service. It automatically makes an anime that can be engaging
Yep.
to watch. Kind of sussy, you know?
Why?
Especially if you're watching it on TV, the big screen, you live with your family, you don't have headphones on, and all of a
She's
sudden,
going exactly where I
these
thought she was.
characters start doing
Oh,
some
God.
sussy stuff.
What's the sussy stuff?
The weird high-pitched
Like?
voices and the
Sex.
close-up of someone's bob, and all of a sudden
Bob?
you're like, is that what it looks like? And your family, you know for a fact, has the best, worst timing ever. They walk in on you watching the most sussiest part
The
of the anime.
sussiest.
Examples, please.
Little Timmy, what?
Okay, why are you watching that on the big screen
Yeah.
where your family is when you know that show is like that? It has these scenes that you find so embarrassing. Grow
Yeah.
up.
So, high school DxD, I would imagine, is what she's talking about. There's lots of etchy elements.
You couldn't even watch Dragon Ball, the original.
That was funny. Yeah, the original Dragon Ball's hilarious.
So
When would you watch Shin-chan? That runs a normal kids TV here.
Wow. The thing is, what is she watching that she's like? Why would you watch the show if you don't like it? Why are you watching a show that makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah, for all
She's
the other things,
probably-
but then suddenly the bra appears.
She's probably
So-
talking about Seven Deadly Sins.
she's
Outlaw Star
complaining
was-
about she's
They played
complaining
out-
about fan service, and she's specifically highlighting the sexual element. But that's not all what fan service is. Fan service could be something like a reference to an earlier event, like in Dragon Ball, Gohan, the kid, Goku's son, is named after Grandpa Gohan, sort of thing. That could be seen as a bit of fan service.
Yeah, in the Evangelion, it
And-
was always joked at the end credits. We'll give you lots of fan service next show, and you're like, oh yay! I can't wait to be sexually aroused with this depressing anime with God trying to kill me. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see
Plenty
that
of-
show. Yeah.
Point is, it doesn't have to be sexual.
Right.
It can
exactly.
just
Yeah,
be a
but-
little reference to something, and that's also fan service. But she's emphasizing the sexual kind.
I mean, yeah, in the widest sense, you're completely correct. When people talk about fan service, they only ever mean the sexual stuff. Especially when they complain about fan service, they only ever mean, oh no, there's a reference to sex, and I'm a good Christian
prude.
girl. I'm a good Christian girl, or I'm a good feminist. There's not much of a difference.
I'm
Ironically,
pretty sure this person never read the Song of Songs.
There's a big difference between a good Christian girl and a feminist. A good Christian girl will go to heaven, and a feminist will go to hell.
but they both hate fan service.
That's
If they
9/11
know,
reference.
if they know the Song of Songs, they can complain about sex.
Oh, okay. Anyway, she doesn't like the pervy scenes because the parents come in. You're like, all right, whatever.
Well, little Timmy, you gotta tell him what you're watching because this is sus as fuck. An anime that I can think of right now that has
Lil
a lot
Timmy.
of fan service, and it's not hard to watch, but it's kind of like it's out of place, is The Classroom of Elite. So sometimes they'll be talking about a strategy to beat Class C, and tell me why, while the characters are talking about some sort of exam tactic or
It's a
way
shoujo.
to, a loophole to get A's or win the prize or whatever it is that they're gonna do during
What is
that
she
exam
talking about?
or
She
test
does
that's
ramble a
happening
lot, doesn't
or
she?
being conducted by the school. Tell me why they'll randomly show Kushina's Bob on screen.
What do you? Okay, wait a second.
What is
I've
the
watched
Bob?
this show.
Bob.
This is
I
not an
saw-
etchy anime. That one character, that cute little girl who has nice curves, they don't show that. They don't really show her, like dancing and showing off her butt or boobs. Like, no, they don't do that. There are some scenes with girls talking on the phone in their beds, but it's not like here's like a bra, here's some cleavage. I don't recall any of those scenes. This scene, okay, if you guys don't know the show, High School of the Elite, it's this weird elite high school where they want to give you this education so that you could become some leaders in politics or whatever. And there's all these weird tests, and you get points for the tests as a class, and there's 4 classes, and they're all in competition with each other. And this super genius guy who's just, again, a background character. He just wants to be in the background. He never reveals himself, but he's manipulating people here and there for fun. And that's the whole show. It's all based around this one genius dude that no one knows who he is, where he came from, and he came from this weird kindergarten experiment where it's like he was not genetically created, but he was tested to be the best at everything. So physics, martial arts, math, logic, every possible thing. So he always gets 50s on the dot perfectly. Like he's always on the border. Like he can make a test and get exactly what he needs to get because he knows all the answers. He's so smart. He's super strong. He knows martial arts. He's super athletic, but he never runs anywhere. He never does anything athletic because he always wants to be mediocre at everything. So they don't.
Sounds a lot like Johan.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
He never wants to get the spotlight because as soon as people know he's awesome, they're going to come after him for whatever reason, which is smart. If you're a super genius, you want to be hidden. You hide as everyone else. So, but there's nothing sexual about that show aside from the guy who keeps taking off his clothes and does exercises, and the super vain guy. I'm above all you, and I have flowing blonde hair, and look at my chest, and look at me do push-ups in the middle of nowhere. Like that's the kind of guy he is. That's about as like that is fan service. But I can't think of very specific scenes. Maybe the boat arc, or the
It sounds like she's complaining about this character and that you can see her chest at some point.
sometimes. But even that character,
sometimes there's more of her body on screen than just her head.
yeah. And it's what's interesting about that character is she comes across as this ditzy, super friendly girl who obviously is very attractive, but in reality, she's the exact opposite. She's super smart. She's conniving. She wants to eliminate people, and you see that duplicity very soon. It's like, oh. So you never think of her as a sex object. You think of her as this dangerous girl who's lying all the time. So but even then, she's just a high school girl. She doesn't come across as this seductive chick. She's just a high school girl. And I honestly cannot think of a specific like season 1 or season 2 episode where it's just all about the skin or cleavage. I just can't. It's not there. I'm sorry.
Apparently, you missed a couple of donations.
I think what her problem is here is that she doesn't understand kids her age. She, like many girls, doesn't understand sexuality as well as she does, and if she has a problem with that little bit of exposure, she needs to unlower her neckline.
Maybe.
Raise her
What?
neckline
Maybe.
that way
I
around.
don't know.
Because like she's showing as much cleavage as in that anime. So what's her problem?
Honestly,
Is that just
Yeah.
being hitting against the competition, or what is that?
well, the anime is hit or miss. Like I watched the first season, I was like, meh. I saw the second season, I was like, this is getting a little better, but it's really slow. The character's motivations is like, I'm going to help this girl, then I'm not going to help this girl, then I'm going to help the teacher, then I'm not going to help the teacher. And this guy, like, he's so nonchalant, the main character, and he's a super genius. You're like, what is he going to do? I don't know. And it takes 6 episodes to get to that point. You're like, oh, this is too tiring. So, not for everyone. And there's barely any seduction I can think of. Anyway. Gingaman, thanks for the 5. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the donation. I think I might have hit something because I was trying to get chat to work and I might have turned something off, so I didn't hear it. But thank you, sir. Thread, you mentioned that women get left behind in power scaling, but I referred to the universe 6 female Saiyans getting catapulted to the same level as the literal gods Goku and Vegeta, with no build-up after that tingly back.
Yeah, all fucking stupid.
Okay, so
Although to be fair, one named Kale, she was the Universe 6's legendary Super Saiyan. So that would have added a lot to their power level. And then Potara basically multiplies their power levels when they combine. So probably, give them a bit of a boost.
is that coming out of nowhere, or is that just a trope that we saw coming, or like what is the...
So the actual power level where he needed to go Ultra Instinct Torment to beat him, that came out of nowhere, but I mean they could have probably kept up with Super Saiyan 3 or maybe even Super Saiyan God, but
All right, fair enough. Yeah, there's lots of weird stuff in Dragon Ball. It's like, this thing again.
There's a lot of power creep in Dragon Ball.
yes, Ginga, I know it's not. I know it's super. It's the legendary Super Saiyan. Of course, Toriyama pulled it from his backside. That's what the legendary Super Saiyan is.
All right, let's continue. We're over halfway done.
Thing, and she's like playing water volleyball or something, and I'm like, bro.
Oh no, you can see her chest.
Oh no.
One Piece. Oh,
Girls playing sports? Oh no, where have I seen that before?
She's in the swimming pool and she's wearing a swimsuit instead of wearing a nun's habit.
that's
no.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Sorry.
Yeah, did you know in Germany, swimming is mandatory in school.
Really?
We have a swimming rate as high as the literacy rate.
That's awesome. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why. You know what is weird? When we watch television of some US show or movie and someone falls in the water and goes, I can't swim. Like, what is that retard doing? Why can't he swim? Everybody can swim. It's like
I mean, if you fell in the Danube, like, come on, you're fucking dead.
I can't swim.
The amount of poison they dump into that.
That's a different thing. That's like the Rhine. If you fall into the Rhine, you come out with 3 eyes.
I can't swim at all.
I had mandatory swimming lessons back in primary school, and I never actually learned how to swim. So, in spite of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you get from swimming in the Amazon River is a parasite.
that's
And no, you don't want
probably
that
true.
parasite.
Well, I did
I
swim
live in
lessons
Texas,
just
is
to-
that,
no
does
water.
that mean you
It's
rather
bad.
drown than live with the parasite?
Oh.
The parasite lives
but
in a
fish-
very bad place.
Oh, is it that parasite that I
Yeah.
think that it is?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
fine.
it's
let's
that
don't talk
parasite.
about it.
All right.
Don't
Anyway.
talk
Yes, I
about
need a jar of
parasite.
those for reasons.
Anyway, no, I did do swimming lessons at behest of my parents, but nothing to do with schooling. There's no mandatory schooling for swimming in Canada, as far as I know.
That is sad. That is. I mean, what if you fall under the ice?
I don't think swimming's going to be your problem at that point.
Then you
can't-
probably die.
It's not impossible to come back out. It's just difficult to find the hole again, but you can come out. You're not
I
instantly
think
dead.
I think polar bears are probably the biggest threat.
Well, if you fall under the ice and there's a polar bear under the ice, yes, you have a problem.
Okay.
I mean,
That is
Then
not
you can
solved by
say cool.
probably not solved by swimming.
No.
if
Anyway,
there's a polar bear under the ice with you, then
anyway, the PG
it's probably already dead.
12 or 13 rating on this swimming scene is not really. I would not consider this sexual in any sense, but whatever.
It's just
Like-
kids playing.
What?
Um,
It's just so awkward.
what?
It's so awkward.
I feel
Volleyball?
uncomfortable watching it in front of my own partner. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm
Uh,
like, "Bro,
What partner?
Wait a minute. Wait. So you have a partner, so you are sexually active, yet you are afraid to watch anime girls who are of a sexually mature age, like with C cups and all, in swimsuits. Not even tiny bikinis, but like full covering swimsuits. And that makes you uncomfortable? Girl, learn to
They're not-
swim.
They're not wearing burqas, and that's just
It's,
scandalous.
Yeah, unbelievable.
This is interesting. I've never met a girl that would be embarrassed by watch. I know girls that in my grade when I was in high school loved Sailor. Oh, did you see Sailor Moon? Like, yes, I think I did. And then because I actually watched anime, but I had to be careful with what the hell they were talking about because then they would ramble on about the girls' relationships, and I'd be like, I don't care. Stop talking.
I think it hints at some sort of insecurity on her part, rather.
I can't judge. I literally can't judge. So
I
I'm
know
staying
you're not
out.
allowed to. That you don't need to mention it.
If she showed something a bit more revealing, then I'd be like, okay, maybe you might be uncomfortable, but what she showed was nothing, so I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah. Like as I said,
it's not what it looks like, man."
Weak female.
What?
as I said, so on the
female
just on
character.
the swimming, I just need to get this out. On the swimming, the mandatory part is somewhere in I think third grade, where everybody gets the basic swimming stuff, so that you will definitely, even if you don't swim fast, with the basic frog style breast swimming, whatever you call it, even if you're bad at that, you will at least not jump into the water and fall like a stone. You will float, because once you know how to float, you will have to relearn how to dive. That's a problem of many kids, because later on you get diving lessons, and then kids don't know how to get under the water anymore. That's really funny. And in what is it, 12th, 13th grade, we have swimming again, and then with more like the competitive, like you have where you're actually graded on getting certain speeds and stuff. And that's the boys and the girls. The girls have all their bikinis and their swimsuits, and they're all embarrassed. And then they realize, oh, maybe I should have taken the bathing suit and not the bikini, because now I'm embarrassed that I'm pretty and everyone's looking at me. And I'm like, your fault.
The lesson here: never drop the soap.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, the next trope is weak female characters. I don't know why you would have a problem with weak any characters. You want to have
All
weak
of them are weak.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with strong
He's
or
weak.
weak characters in general. You want to have those in your stories. and you need them. You can't just have everyone strong. Every character's strong.
Mhm.
They're all amazing. They never lose. It's like, what? No, you have to have some give. You have to have some balance. You can't just have everyone be powerful.
He looks
had
like the
a whole
person who, in a real
decade.
situation that happens in any of these adventure stories, she herself would be the weak female character.
Well, think of Dragon Ball with all strong. Like they're all strong. No one could be weak. It's they never win. Everyone just beats the shit out of each other. They just
Bulma?
stalemate everything.
Bulma, she's probably the weakest character of out of anyone who has a name.
She's a non-fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Even Mr. Satan could easily beat her.
Well, there would be
Yeah, right,
no
That's
opportunity.
because he's
But-
triple the size of her.
But there'd be no opportunity to grow. Like they'd just all be like.
Or Bulma herself,
I'll never give
she
up.
does have a purpose in the series.
Oh yeah, well that's Bulma. But
She's extremely important, despite being weak physically.
well, yeah, but I'm not talking just physically. I mean like the motivation.
Yeah, she
She also means emotionally weak, dependent on others, and all of that. That's what
Yeah.
she refers to with this term. I'm 100% sure it's not about physical strength.
characters have strengths and weaknesses. They should have strengths and weaknesses. So when we see a character in a moment of weakness, that shouldn't be seen as as the be all end all of the character. Because the character might have a strong moment either immediately before or immediately afterward.
Yeah, usually in manga
Or
when you have a
sometime
fight
later down the
scene,
line.
even with a character who's like super powerful or isekai and they got a blessing or whatever, they aren't up to the task they have to solve or the problem they have to solve psychologically or personally, and they have to resolve that thing within them, like their past life, or they remember being bullied and they have to grow stronger and they were too scared. And now they have the strength, or they have the opportunity at least to fight back. That if you don't have that, then everyone's awesome. Everyone's like completely sure of themselves. They're not scared. They're gonna go into battle and they might even lose, but they're not gonna be whining about it.
Do it with style.
Everything's
Yeah,
awesome. Nothing is pathetic. Everyone's cool as hell. It's like, okay,
The character arc for everyone is just flat.
there's nowhere else to go. You're already at the top. Yeah. So
it's like One Punch Man without the slice of life stuff.
or the satire or anything. He's just there, and stuff dies, and he's happy about it. He's completely content with being awesome. And you're like, all right.
So One Punch Man, if it were played straight instead of we did get
No comedy. No bicycle. What's the bicycle guy?
Moomin Rider.
Moomin Rider.
Right.
Wouldn't have him. Wouldn't have
King-
Tsukimaki. Wouldn't have any of the heroes.
Pira Prinzna.
What's that cyborg called?
Janus? Janus? Yeah.
Genius, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
He wouldn't be struggling to
He
be
wouldn't be in
stronger.
it, would he?
Yeah, he'd already achieve whatever he wanted to mentally, psychologically.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be scared of anything.
But the thing I disagree on is that One Punch Man is being played straight, like lots of anime. That is what makes the humor. That is what makes the action. No matter how absurd some things are.
His plight being that he gets no joy out of life anymore is played straight. Like he's just that's his reality. He doesn't know what to do. So that's true. But strength of character is what we're talking about. And if you take that all away from the One Punch Man side characters, which is what the story is really about, like Tsukimaki's sister would just be okay with her sister being stronger than her. She'd have her own little club. And she'd be like, okay, this is my life. This is okay. And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to help when I can. But I can't fight with the big guys because I'm not strong enough. I accept that. My arc is done. And you're like, oh, okay. Like you can't have an arc without a weakness. You need to have a character flaw.
And if everybody's just happy with the state things are in Buddhist equilibrium, then there's also no story.
There's no desire. There's no need to change.
There's no movement.
Everything's perfect. Everything's the way it is.
You end up with Disney Wars.
What? Disney?
Disney Wars, the that Disney Star Wars thing that they
Oh.
did with the main character. Well, that I don't even know any other lines. I just know as Mary Sue.
She doesn't say that many lines.
I bypassed the compressor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one
that's
that's the one I try to remember. That's the one I had an image for in my head because it's one of the few times she has an emotion.
The one line that I know her for, I don't think she actually ever said it. It's I am the Force. And I don't think that's the line that she ever says.
I think
She said, "I am all the
Jedi."
Jedi."
Yeah.
Oh god. Anyway, here's Gingaman.
Somehow, Palpatine is back.
All right. Here's
For fuck's sake.
Here's Gingaman Prime again. Thank you, sir. You say Bulma is weak. Uh-oh. When Chi-Chi has a hissy fit literally every time her family is involved in any fight, let alone the more important fights in the story. This is even shown when Gohan comes home after becoming a Super Saiyan. Okay.
You don't mess with Chi-Chi.
No, you don't. She will beat the shit out
But
of you.
she gets turned into an egg and then dies by boo 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 or something like that.
Bobo.
Bo 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 bo. Yeah.
Chi-Chi's above she's above a base level Goten.
Really?
But she's above base level Goten in the Buu saga when
Yeah,
she's
don't watch the Buu saga. It's not.
and
I
then
actually like the
all we-
saga.
All we need
she
to know about
pushes-
Chi-Chi is that she decapitated a Tyrannosaurus Rex when she was 3 years old or something.
she
The Bull Saga is literally the most dragged saga in Dragon Ball.
it's the Buu saga is basically what happens when you have nobody to say no to Toriyama.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's fight a giant ball of gum. Like, why?
But it's
The
just
Mr. Satan bits were kind of okay.
and also it
He was constantly on the verge of, oh my god, I hope he doesn't go mad and eat me. Oh my god, oh my god.
finished the story as well, so he's basically continuing the story that he's already finished, and
Yeah, he
He's got-
really didn't want to.
Well,
He
he
really
didn't
just
want to
wanted to just
continue
pay
it.
the bills.
and he didn't have anyone to say no to him, so he basically just started throwing in random shit just for the fucking sake of it.
Yeah.
And then he came with Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
All right.
Dragon Ball Super, isn't that a remake of Dragon Ball GT?
No, that's Kai. Kai is the remake of Zed.
You sure?
Yep.
Because a lot of stuff in Dragon Ball Super is reminiscent of Dragon Ball GT.
Well,
It is
yeah, but like
basically
Kai
Gensou's-
is basically like redrawn version of, well, not even redrawn, it's remastered version of Z, and Super is like an entirely new thing. They did make 1 or 2 movies before that, and that's basically built into Super.
Battle of
But
Gods
enough of
and
Dragon Ball.
Resurrection F.
This is Tyler Preston. I'm amazed you even know what that head blade thing of Chi-Chi was called. I didn't even know it had a name.
A hat.
Anyway.
He says it's Ultra 7's Ice Slugger.
Okay. Anyway, let's hear what she has to say about weak female characters being a bad trope.
This one, I feel like there's a shift happening, so it's not as well. It is common, but it's dying out. Is weak female characters. Weak female characters. I feel like a lot of shonen anime, especially, had them. Unfortunately, a lot of the times these characters don't end up getting a proper. What do you say? A lot of the times these characters don't end up getting a proper character development, and sometimes you get to see them not make that many advancements. This happened a lot in older anime where characters, if they did have
Violent
a
Jack?
fight scene, like a one-on-one, one bad guy from the bad guy organization versus this female protagonist, they would end up usually losing the fight and would end up needing assistance.
So Sailor Moon, basically. Every episode of
Probably.
Sailor Moon.
I can't imagine what else she might have watched that is an older anime with that.
Yeah, she's gonna be crying her ass off every time she watches Serena get her ass kicked. Like, oh no, it's so weak. She whines, she cries, and then one of her friends comes in and saves her.
Go watch Cat's Eye and Cutie Honey, the originals.
Oh yeah, that's
Watch
pretty strong.
Outlaw Star if you want a strong female character.
Yeah, that's good too.
Um,
I was gonna say Agent
Oh,
Aika, but she's not gonna like that.
No, she'll have problems with
Tenchimuyo.
fan service.
Tenchimuyo is good.
You can
Yep.
watch My Hero Academia too. There's some
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
the go-to, I think, for most kids.
Austin,
Watch
Austin the
Slayers.
Shell's a good one.
Slayers.
It's an oldie but goodie.
Always watch Slayers.
Yeah, there's lots of really goofy characters that are female. I don't see the problem with having Serena be weak and then she gets angry and then she pushes herself when her friends are in danger. So
I would like to really have a concrete example what she means here. And if there's just a few of those really, what's the problem in having actual character type diversity? That's what makes the story more lively. Gives us more interactions, things that rub off of each other, and plot dynamics. Buzzword.
Japan.
She could watch Kill la Kill.
Which kind of sucked because it's like, I want to see Rukia fight her own battles. I want to see Orihime fight her own battles. I want Orihime's little thingies to turn into these fighting monsters.
Isn't she really strong, Orihime, and all her doodads?
She is strong only in like a support role.
Okay.
Like she could heal anybody, like even if they're dead, essentially.
Right. Okay, so some of the women in Bleach aren't as super uber coolly awesome, super powerful, strong physically. It's like, okay, I guess.
The support.
So she just wants
characters.
more power fantasy.
I guess like you could watch Fairy Tail. There's lots of physically strong girls in that.
Day Zero.
Yeah,
Even the weakest girl has superpowers.
crazy women in ReZero. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like psychologically weak, and that's bad somehow because you want the girls to get stronger. And I don't mean physically or just physically strong. I mean like emotionally stronger.
They have to overcome something to get stronger.
They have to be
don't just-
mature. They have to be wise. They have to learn. They have to go through suffering of some kind. Like horrible thing happened in my past. Never wanted to happen again. So I have to deal with how not to encounter that again. Basic stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like supernatural or anything like that.
Yeah, emotional strength and an actual the big wisdom. That's not something you get handed to you or just from reading 1,000 books.
Right. And she
That's
mentioned
something you need to get that spark of life horrors for.
Yeah, and she talked about character development. It's like, that's true. If they don't get character development, then you have a flat character. It doesn't matter if they're weak or strong. But if they're weak, they can go somewhere. If they're strong, what are they going to do? Hubris? Find someone
They can
who's
fall,
they can,
but she wouldn't want that either.
I don't know. It's a strange thing to not want weak characters, let alone female weak characters. You need weak characters.
Yeah, weakness.
Yeah, but I think
is
that
the
speaks
main
of the
force
general. Yeah, but I think that speaks of this general feminist narcissism problem.
I don't know.
Where they don't want female characters with any weaknesses, so they all have to be super awesome, mega strong, without flaws.
I don't know.
And then we get the shit we get.
It's
And
possible.
maybe this is what she meant with this shift.
Well, maybe she's just tired of seeing it, and then she just stops watching. Where there could have been development, and then she just keeps.
Yeah,
watching.
there are so many characters in these animes that some of them she will like, but she wants the ones that aren't perfect to her image to be more to her image.
Right. There's characters in like rom-coms who are goofy, silly, like Nisekoi. Nisekoi is a silly rom-com where this guy has a locket and you just know who gave the key to the locket. It's representing his heart, shape of a heart. Duh, it's so obvious. And all the girls have a key from their childhood. They don't know who it is, where they came from, blah, blah, blah. And there's all these girls who are either physically strong or mentally strong or on. Like one girl's like completely honest. She tells the guy how much she loves him. And he's, your classic Japanese schoolboy, like, oh my God, this girl's crazy. Get away from me. She's so aggressive and honest and positive. And her dad's the the police chief, and she's super rich and all this crap. But then you have this one girl who used to be an assassin, which is stupid, but whatever. She's super feminine, but she dresses as a boy. She has all these great physical features, as most anime chicks do. She's really good at cooking, just like the protagonist. So they share all these recipes. They get along very well. But anytime he makes a joke like, "Oh wow, you're going to be a great wife someday," she goes, she gets so scared and embarrassed. She runs out of the room and all that crap. So physically, she's going to kick your ass, if many ways than one, might kill you. But everything else, she's great at academics. She's great at cooking. All the feminine charms she's got, but she never shows them off except for this guy. And it's the most like, I'm looking at all these, because you do all the same thing when you look at a harem anime. You're like, okay, this girl's pretty cool. This girl's kind of stupid. This one is the main character, and all those reasons. But everything she's got going for her is like physically, mentally, socially. It's just that emotional element which the boy is fulfilling for her, and she doesn't know what to do with that. And she's so immature, and she never gets the opportunity to properly express herself in that regard. And the assumption is the main character, the blonde chick, who ends up winning the love of this dude. So, but that's the point of reading and watching the show or the manga, is that you don't know who they're going to end up with. So, yeah, it's a soap opera, pretty much. But you always are like, why didn't they end up with the other one, who obviously cares, is feminine in every way, is pretty much a goddess, checking all the boxes, and needs this dude to unlock her heart, and she never takes the opportunity. Because if you give that arc and he rejects her, you're like, oh, so he doesn't like her regardless of how perfect she is. He actually cares about someone else for whatever reason, and that's totally fair, because that's life. We never get that. It's everyone just sort of dripping over this guy, and he's like, "Durr," as they all are, and fighting with the main protagonist he's going to end up with because they associate so much. Which I guess is also an Ichigoi 100%, where the person who had the most social interactions ends up being the girlfriend, which also is what the fans voted on, because that's how the writer did it. They gave a democratic vote to all the fans. Who should the main character end up at the end of the story? And naturally they chose the girl who associates with the guy the most. It was pretty much like arguing who has ball possession most in soccer. And if it's 51%, that team should win. You're like, technically, I guess. Yeah, maybe. So, anyway. Back to weak female characters.
But they never, and her shield breaks. But anyway, you hate a Titan, you become a Titan.
What was that? Sorry?
That's called
So
irony.
that was fed.
Becoming
the thing you hate.
hate.
Irony.
All right. Fair enough.
You hate a Titan, you become a Titan.
It's
Kaneki
a meme.
didn't hate ghouls. I think he didn't even know that they existed.
Who?
But he got turned into a ghoul.
Oh, ghouls.
Yeah. I really hope they stop doing that, because it's getting really boring.
Uh,
Yeah.
That was it?
Okay. So the very last one that I'm going to mention.
You
is
basically
Forever
said nothing.
Crushes. So this
Yeah.
is just like a personal thing. It's a pet peeve thing. So it's less of a trope. Well, it is in most anime. Whether it
In
doesn't matter
most?
what genre, it's a thing in anime. I don't
Forever
know
All
why
of them or the last
they
one?
need to drop it, and that is Forever Crushes. And when I say Forever Crushes, what I mean is when a character, when they're a kid, they have a crush on somebody, and that crush is their forever crush. They never get over that person. They never actually go out and date someone else.
Wow, you're a girl that doesn't believe in true love anymore. You are broken. That is so
That's the
sad.
thing a lot of people experience in real life. It's just
Yeah, you admire a person, a guy or a girl. You never have the courage to do so, to admit to that, and that's that. That's you missed your opportunity.
And you don't like
And it hurts when it
what we
happens.
call what is this based on, where these kids, I don't know if you have a word for that in English, but when kids play in sandbox, they're 3, 4, 5 years old and then become friends, And they make this promise like, let's be friends forever. Ooh, and then they have this play relationship with
Love
that
Hina?
have this. For example, in these in some harem animes, that's often used with the childhood friend. But in German, we even have a word for that, and it's called Sandkastenliebe, sandbox love, because it's where this relationship started. And sometimes it goes through all of elementary school and so on. And sometimes, in very rare cases, yes, it makes it all the way through adult life, and there's even coming a marriage out of that, which is super rare, but it happens. But other than that, it's still something memorable and something sweet, and not
Is that in
something
English?
just because that's something I would complain about.
Is
What
that in
happened to a
English?
teacher of
Is
mine?
that puppy love?
Hmm?
In English, isn't that puppy love? And two
Yeah.
people at a young age sort of fall for each other.
Well, it could be anything in relation to a crush that a girl has on a guy, or a guy is too scared to tell a girl about. And there's all these wonderful scenes in anime
I
where
think Frednot's question was whether there's an English word for it.
childhood crushes, like from school, like you
Well,
grew
it's
up.
not in that case, it's not
No,
a
no, no.
crush. It's not a crush, it's mutual.
Right.
A crush is one-sided.
Yeah. So I don't know. Every show is different, and there's always that behind the school confession scene and whatever happens. So usually it's about the main character, but a side character doing it is like pretty common. So in harem, it's like obvious. So there is no crush. It's just like, oh yeah, everyone's into the guy. He's the hero. He saved the day. Of course they're gonna love the guy. It's obvious. But he's too dumb or Japanese to care. He's like, well, I'm not going to get married. I'm 16. Go away from me. So, yeah, no, this is not a big deal. Maybe this is a personal pet peeve of specific shows she's watching, because I don't specifically watch romance stories. There's rom-coms I know, but there's very few romance stories I know in anime.
As she said, it is a personal pet peeve of her.
Yeah, you have to be very specific with this sort of drama, because it's got to be in high school. It's got to be something like that. And I'm trying to remember the titles of one or two. I do recall this scenario, but it's been so long since I've seen them. And
Love Hina?
Love Hina? No, that's a harem anime. Everyone loves the one
Yeah,
guy.
but they had the sandbox thing that and all that.
Childhood, yeah, okay.
It did have that. That was a main focal point.
Right.
This whole video is very confusing because there's some stuff that she's trying to be objective over, despite it all being her personal subjective opinions. And then there's some things that just have the pet peeve underneath them, which she's being more honest about than being her subjective personal opinions.
I think she could have done more research when
she's mixed them both up.
When she's talking about a trope or pattern that's, oh, this is a thing I know, and I'm sure it's a pattern elsewhere, but it's like, I don't like this in this show because XYZ. The best example she gave with those two shows, but she just said these two shows have it, and you're like, okay, what happens?
The video would also be better if she actually mentioned examples. Like the only one she actually mentioned examples was the weak girls, the weak female characters. Like
No, not even
those
that.
were the only.
No, not even that.
I don't remember what
Like
she said.
She gave the one time she gave a concrete example was about some dragged out fight scene in One Piece, I believe.
Yeah.
It was two anime. I don't remember the names, but it was two. I asked you guys, do you guys ever heard of that anime before? And I'm like, nope, don't know what that is.
No.
Well, I found. Yeah, Matthias?
No, go on. I can see.
Okay. What I find weird is that her main problems, or the majority of them, boil down to she is weirded out or even creeped out by seeing relationships, characters being even superficially intimate with each other, and seeing the contours of the female body. Just What is that? Is that insecurity? Is that jealousy? Because that is not an age-appropriate reaction for her.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, seeing girls in underwear is like, oh no, that's
She also
Go to
referred
the beach.
to her boyfriend as a partner.
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
The person I'm intimate with, I get embarrassed when I watch my rom-coms, and the girl is wearing a skirt, and you're like, what?
Well, I've seen a ring on her finger. It looks like it might be her fiance.
Oh boy, that's
And
Well,
call him
at
your
least-
fiance.
At least the annoying music is very, very, very quiet.
Well, in that case, congratulations for her.
okay. We got. Oh, geez, we're almost done. 30 seconds.
else feelings, go through exes. Realistically, if you had a crush on somebody in 5th grade, you wouldn't have a crush on them when you were in 7th or 8th.
Wait, why not?
Why not?
If you're in the same room, the crush stays.
Dude, that can stay forever. If it's not resolved, that can just linger there.
Well, there's stories of,
Yep.
of boys and girls in junior kindergarten marrying later in life.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And I mean, girl, if your crushes were so fleeting and jumping left and right all the time, yeah, maybe you don't understand that. But when boys have crushes, man, they stick. Because, healthy, normal boys, they're damn loyal. That's why they're so protective. But apparently girls aren't, if we go by your recollection there.
we're
what a
almost
pity.
done. We're like, oh, so close.
Grade. Maybe you just grew up, realized how dumb your crush was, or something happened. A lot happens every year of your life, and I feel like in anime,
Yes, but
it kind of makes me uncomfortable that some of these characters never get out of that having a crush on somebody. But anyway, thanks for watching.
Whoa!
These stories usually play within the length of a few weeks or months.
That was
What are
this
you talking
abrupt explanation of what she doesn't like. That was like, oh, you grow up, guys. In reality, this doesn't happen. It's like, okay, but a story is specific to a bunch of characters and their
It
psychology.
didn't happen to her. She's completely projecting from her own experience and how her mind works and how her emotions work onto that. This must be how it goes for everyone else. I know how the world works. Girl, are you even 20?
Her opinion, according to her, is objective fact.
Yeah, you need to grow out of your pink room.
All
She
right.
started.
I mean, what she said can happen, but for an anime, there's no reason to restrict your reality.
Well,
You need to restrict your logic, but you don't need to restrict your, hey, that's how it happens in real life.
I would like her to analyze actual rom-coms or romantic dramas in anime that had those tropes and say, look at this scene with this character who has a crush that never gets resolved. And you're like, okay, that's a problem because... And then give me the reason. That's all she had to do. Since that might be the whole point of the story, we don't know. So it could be unrequited love. That could be the whole point of the story. I don't know. You need to give us the plot of the story and then tie it into this character who's not resolving their issues for some reason. So, yeah, I don't know. She ended that way too quickly. But we have no stream memes, so we're all done today, thankfully.
Oh, thank
We
the
got
Lord.
through every,
Yeah.
That was
we got
just
through
too
every single
quick.
point. It didn't seem to have a logical stopping point each time.
Yeah, exactly.
It really sounds like she didn't have a script at all to begin with. She was just like thinking it in herself that like, what should I talk about?
She was looking off to the side quite a lot.
Yeah, well, that is telling that she was like really thinking hard what to say.
That's what people generally do when they're thinking of what to say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. That was not bad. Very short, sweet, kind of weird. Wishing we had more detail to work with. And actual research tropes would have been fantastic. I don't think she did any. But, she likes her anime. Good for her. And, well, thanks for watching.
She have room for improvements.
She tries to like her cartoons, but she just nitpicks them by its own, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was all for today. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.